Okay.
Welcome to the welcome to the exclusive. I'm your host Sharon Tharp, here to recap week 5 of Big Brother 28. It was quite an exciting one. And joining me today is a legend of the game from season 3, Jason Guy. Welcome back to the podcast, Jason.
Thank you. I'll take that. It was so long ago. We're forgotten if we didn't come back for an all-star season or like Rachel Riley again and again and again and again. Season three
No.
here. We're encroaching in on next summer will be 25 years since I played that game. Isn't that wild?
Wild.
Yeah, yeah,
Wild. Also, Jason, the 1,000th episode is coming up. I know a lot of the
yeah.
alumni, if not all of them, were invited. Any plans to go out there? Are you
I,
busy?
conflicts with school for the kids, for work things. That's such a busy week. I will be there watching in spirit and all of that, but no. And it's interesting. I've been asking a couple of people to see if they're going to end up making it out there. There are some surprise yeses that I think people are going to love, and then there's some people who I thought for sure we're going to do it, and they're like, it just it didn't work out right now. But I was honored to get that email and the invite. And, it would be amazing. I want to go and meet all these Big Brother contestants that I've never had a chance to meet over the years. Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah, and timing wise, I know it was kind of like, with not too much notice and everyone's busy. And like you said, people are going back to school. So
Hmm.
totally understand. But otherwise, how are you doing this summer?
Good. I mean, it's always exciting when Big Brother comes back when we start getting the little teasers from Julie on social media. I get excited. It's always great once the season starts, and um, it and I do know the expect the unexpected, but I was joking with Hannah and Rachel, and it's just like, yeah, we made our picks, but we also were on an unfair playing field. We didn't know what we didn't know, that Angela was going to walk back in, that we were going to have Devens and Dee from Survivor fame. I mean, come on, and they, in my opinion, are really dominating in this game, and I think, and making wild predictions here, that either or both Devens and Dee will be in the final two chairs. I feel strongly that one of the two will make it all the way. And if I had to pick, I think it might be Dee. Could we have a Survivor winner and a Big Brother winner? I mean, it would be huge. And why not? After we get the 1,000th episode, season 28 finale, and they give her some more money. CBS writes her another check.
I know. Listen, there's a lot of conspiracy theories. Oh, production
Oh,
helps these players and all these. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, I think Dee is playing just like we know Dee knows how to play. She's
yeah.
really, really good at talking to people. She's really strategic. She's good at comps. She's very well rounded. And so
Mhm.
I'm with you. I think she's going to be at the end. I think Devon's, has a great shot, even Angela at this point. But I think Dee, I don't know. There's something about her.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah, I really like watching her and her maneuvering, and just the strategy that she has and the way she executes it. And like you said, she can go in and she can play a competition and do well. She's able to talk through these scenarios. She sort of sees the bigger picture that I've never been able to get chess. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know what it says about me and my personality and my brain and all that. I don't understand it. I I'm fascinated by it, but none of it makes any sense. But I feel like she is looking moves ahead
Yeah.
and playing the long game. And I don't know if that's just innate with her. I mean, I think some of it is, but I think being on Survivor gave her that heads up, that leg up, where she can really move in this game and go, all right, this is a thing that is going to help me. This hurt me when I played a reality competition show before. And I think she's moving through pretty flawlessly. And I love that she's keeping a secret from Devens. Now, I wouldn't have done that on my season with Danielle, uh, but I, I'm kind of here for it as a fan of the show, because I think it's showing us that she is still playing a solo game, which is what you have to do at the end of this. You've got to play for yourself.
Yeah, I will say, I think she told Devens yesterday.
Oh, see, I'm late to the party on this. Oh,
No, it's
come
okay.
on, D. Come on. No.
I think if it was the Diamond Power Veto or something really powerful, I don't think
Yeah.
she would have done that because she also ended up telling Kamu randomly, which
Oh,
we could talk
well,
about. But
okay. I now
I
I'm
just
now I'm thinking she's making some mistakes. It's the fatigue of this game. It's worn
she got
on
bored.
now. The length of a Survivor season. She has been in that house almost as long as she was out there playing Survivor, and now she still has 2/3 of the game left to go.
Yep, yep. And that's what I do want to talk about too, because she's playing so well and she sort of drove this flip, right? With Haley's HOH.
Yeah.
They were going to get rid of Drew. Then they were, considering the melody of it all. And then they were like, Dee was like, why am I keeping lyrics? She's not close with me. She's getting close to the red corner. So she sort of orchestrated that. Yeah, sure. Part of you can say, okay, maybe she was getting bored in there, but at the end of the day, I don't think that was a bad move on her. I do think it was a little
No.
sloppy and it was fun TV. But what were your thoughts on that whole Blindside?
Oh, I am here for it. The Thursday night live show was so good.
Yeah,
They zoom in on Haley and she's
the editing was
like
great.
like
Shout out to the
oh it's yeah,
editors.
yes, and they were catching so much of it live, so whoever's directing and calling shots and punching it,
The
phenomenal.
director, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, it was so good, and that's what we're here for. We want to see those moments, and that's why a live show is something that you can't produce it up that way, the raw emotion that happens, and especially with that competition. So we go in with three nominees. We've got the blockbuster. They come out and we find out who's still on the block, and then we see what happens there, and a few people make some eye contact, and we know this is going down. And I love sometimes it gets goofy where they in the little diary room pass they make a dance and do a handshake and whatever.
Yep.
But I love that a couple of times you see people going, how are we voted? What do we do? What's happening here? And so they have that moment to discuss it, and it's sort of in private, as they pass, and that's all depending on how the producers, or I don't know how it's drawn, how they organize who goes in what order. Um, I think sometimes it is a little bit, they think that they might know how people would vote. And so it's like when we
Yep.
go to that commercial break, we've had either the vote is split right now or there's some drama that leaves you hanging. Um, but I enjoy seeing that. I think that that's a kind of an interesting thing that happens, and it's only happening live. I remember there was a moment on my season of Big Brother 3, and I had to vote. We didn't do it live, but we were in the diary room. They're like, "No, you have to vote." And I said, "I need to go talk to Danielle. I don't know what we're doing." And they were like, "You got to vote. We can't let you out of here
Oh,
until you vote." And I was like, "I hope I'm making the right decision." And I choose to evict whoever. And so I like that about the live show and the moments that can happen there. And then when the blind side happened, I think even Lyric thought when she heard the numbers that it was going to be, she was safe, and
yep.
then it was gonna go the other way, and then her face shifted when she realized she was getting evicted, because I felt like she was consoling, right? She was consoling Melody, and I
Yeah.
was like, no, no, that's not what's happening here. It was so good, and then to see, yes, Haley, I think just really shocked. Like, what happened? Everybody told me this was going to go a certain way, or I I heard, and maybe she heard what she wanted to hear, that it was going to go that way, and it didn't. It was great. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I mean, Jason, when Big Brother is great, it's so great. It's
It
such good
is.
TV. Those are the moments that I'm just like, I love this show. I'm getting
Yes.
excited. We're all getting excited. And so, yeah, I thought that episode was like a perfect sort of Big Brother episode, honestly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh,
And it is exciting that it's live, and you're watching it, and it's a sporting event almost, where
yep.
we're all here watching it live. You don't want to see it on the DVR tomorrow or see the social media post about it. You got to watch it in that moment live, and I think that's what is brilliant about Big Brother. And it's also, I think, for people who don't watch the feeds, it's kind of giving them the taste of what you may be missing. Although there's a lot of, oh my goodness, this is just nothingness happening for so long. It's
Yep.
somebody who's up early and they're washing dishes or they're making breakfast, and you just hear a lot of somebody eating something and smacking, like, and just. But when it gets to those moments that are really good, the conversation in the HOH room, or some strategizing out on the hammock, yeah, it's like you were there and you witnessed it live. You watched it on the internet. So I love that about the show. And then did watch the feeds season 2, and then a friend was like, "Hey, they're doing auditions in Mobile, Alabama. You should go," and did. And here we are, 24 years ago. It was the summer 24 years ago,
Wow.
2002. Yeah,
Crazy, crazy,
yeah.
crazy. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned kind of being like a sporting event, and I'm curious about Haley, right? Because Haley comes in, I think she's the supposed to be okay. That's the team we don't like. She's the
Uh-huh.
villain of this. What do you make of Haley? I personally, we'll talk about it. She goes on the block this week, but I don't want to lose her yet. I think she's great
Why?
TV,
Okay,
right?
because well, I think she is a villain, and we need
We
a
need
villain. It's
someone.
fun to have somebody like that, but I think that we saw it with the conversation Kamu and Haley had. Now, I think Kamu was pushing something as an agenda, and he just said, "This is what you need to do," and she didn't like that, and so there was all that pushback. Um, but I feel like, yes, Haley's a villain, but I think she's also somewhat of a wild card, and I think, and maybe I'm wrong with this. Yes, I would like to see the other side of the house, and that's why I'm so excited about what's happened this week. Have some
Yep,
power, and there could be a shakeup in the dynamics. But I'm also rooting for Devens and Dee.
I
I
know.
just don't want it to be a boring summer and just watch them control it all and run the game, and then get down to, yeah, okay, we're in jury, and then we're down to final five and four and three and two, and it's
Too predictable.
Devens and Dee. Yeah, I don't want it to be that. So I love the shakeup, but I don't know. There's something about Haley that just made me go. Nobody knows what she's going to do, and
That's
I don't know.
true.
I felt like she was doing what Kamu did, and I didn't like what he did with her, and so I'm also like, he needs to be a target soon. That's not happening this week, and I don't know if the House really sees him as a dangerous player yet, like we do on the outside. That
Mm,
this guy is setting up a lot of things that I think can benefit him down the line and can win the game. And so I would like to see Haley go, because I think that it kind of destabilizes a little bit of what Kamu's doing, and then that's going to shake up the other side, and
okay,
I think that's good TV. I don't know,
okay.
but you like her. You're
Well, no, I don't
rooting
wanna
for
say
a
I like
villain.
her or I'm rooting for her, but to me, I'm always team good TV, and if I had to choose between
Yes.
her and Chuck, Chuck is a little bit of a snooze for me, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. Oh, no, I know. When you watch 3 or 4 episodes and you're like, "Oh, he
Who is
hasn't
he?
been on any of them." Yeah, and then he shows up and he does something, or he's in a competition, you're like, "Wait, Chuck's in this." Yeah, yeah. But he is a player who potentially could, and all of a sudden you blink and you go, "Oh, he's in final 5. What?" And that, so I get it. You want to get rid of him so that there is the drama and the good TV. I think, um, I don't know. I think even without Haley, without Kamu, I think we've got some interesting things that can happen. And I do really find Lala to be a hoot. Like, I mean, it
Can we talk about this?
just
Like,
just a
oldest
hoot. Yeah.
woman to ever win that competition. I mean,
Yeah, the wall
she
comp.
talk to me about sort of watching her win and beating Kamu. I was shocked when Kamu fell because that cut on the feeds
Yeah.
and we didn't see it. And I was like, did he purposely fall? But no, it looks like he just slipped.
Yeah. And the wall is a competition that wasn't around on season
Hmm.
3. It's a comp that I watched, and I remember going, "Oh, wow, whoa, this is intense. This is something that it would have taken me out, I feel like, pretty quickly."
You think
Um,
so?
yeah, and I was thinking, maybe the house guest had a thought that if Lyric was still around, because she was doing well in competitions, that the wall, if it's coming up in this season, we start thinking about OTEV and
Of
some of these
course.
competitions that happen season after season, and maybe they were thinking like Lyric might win the wall. Um, I was not putting the win there for Lala, and I will say I'm kind of surprised. I know Kamu is super strong. He is this MMA, this fighter, and so I feel like, yes, he's got all the skills on paper, but sometimes we've seen people like that take this on, and it wipes them out way sooner, because it's a competition that maybe favors somebody who is lighter weight, and even with like, I feel like every muscle in his body is tensed up and it's going to be, hurting him. And I don't know. I just didn't think that he was one of the picks to go as far. I thought for sure it was going to be, maybe a Melody at the end, or, and somebody would surprise us, Barrett or something. I don't know. And really, not Lala to win this thing. So, I mean, let's go. I was so
Yeah.
pumped.
Props for I mean, listen, it was very exciting. I will say Lala's been sort of a I don't know. Always afraid to say floater because I think people take that negatively, but I don't
Yeah.
necessarily think that's a negative word, but I think she's just sort of hasn't found her group. She has Taylor. I think
Mhm.
Taylor has definitely emerged lately as a player.
Yes.
She's sort of helping run this HOH. Now, I do think people like Dee and even Kamu a little bit or Barrett, for sure, are catching on like, "Whoa." Like, actually, Drew, right
Mhm.
before we went live here, said that Taylor's reminding him of Daniel Reyes, and I was like, "Oh god, don't put that out there. What's
Oh,
going on?"
okay. Wow.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
So my alliance partner on Big Brother 3, and then we've seen her in All Stars, and we've seen her on uh, she came back
Traders.
for Reindeer Games, and then we've seen her on Traders, and yeah. I did an interview with Hannah and Danielle recently. I think CBS is going to share. I don't know where it's going to end up, but we were talking about who we want to see on some other reality shows, and we think Danielle needs to go on Survivor. I want to see her
Hello?
on that show, and she's game. Like if they come calling, she's in. She said she'd do it.
They would be stupid not to cast her, if
Yeah,
I'm being honest, because she would just
I think the
be
same.
oh
Yeah,
my
she brought
god.
so much entertainment and drama, and she can like embrace the fact that sometimes she's a villain. And I remember watching the traders, and people would say, "Really, she's your friend?" It's like, I don't know. Did you see the new episode? I don't know. And I was like, just keep watching. And then by the end, they're like, "Oh," and they realized what she was doing, and then it was sort of the, "Oh no, this didn't work out." And I mean, just
Yeah.
a heartbreaking way that ended. I I couldn't believe it.
I know.
Um,
I felt like
oh
I had to be like I'm like, "No, you listen, she's ours. You can't talk about her. Like she's our."
yeah, yeah,
And I feel like even with Survivor coming in here, I think Danielle was like, this is Big Brother. It's interesting now we have survivors playing. I think it's
yeah,
time. I mean, we did have Caleb go to Survivor, but I think we need a
yeah.
legend like Danielle in there, personally.
Okay, all right, let's do it.
I
All right,
agree with
we'll
that.
petition whoever's in charge of casting now on that.
Yes,
um,
yes.
yeah, so I know I got way sidetracked, but I get what you're saying about Lala being a floater. I don't know if she really is. I just think that it's been very hard for anyone who's not tied to sort of the D Devens and the auxiliary alliances that they're
Right.
running. I think it's been very hard for anybody to do anything, and you just have to go into survival mode. You're not wanting to be on the block. You don't want to be on anybody's radar, and maybe that is the definition of a floater. But fine, you say that, but it's also good game and how a lot of people make it a long way in this game, and some
Yeah.
of those people end up winning a show like Big Brother doing that. It's not as exciting a game to watch as somebody like a Paul, playing big and shaking it up and all of that season after season and still ending up, in the same place, kind of
Right.
back to back. You're like, but but I don't think that right now it's a bad place for her to be in. And I think with Taylor, because she is super loyal to Lala, I think the two of them are going to be a very strong force. As now they have a little power. If they really do manage to get Haley out, I think that weakens the other side. And then I think that then somebody like a Kamu becomes a target. Um, I just I don't know. I don't want Drew to go. I don't know why I'm rooting for him. I know he's kind
Me
of
too.
messy, but I really enjoy him, and he's making me laugh, from the
Yep.
hair to and how he styles the hair, hanging upside down in the bathroom, to just all of the things there. And um, I don't know. I I don't know why I can't. I'm not rooting for some of the others like I am these the players like a like a Drew, a Lala.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
and I will say Taylor has begun to impress me. I got very nervous for her game at the beginning when she mentioned one of the All Stars, the Survivor players didn't say hi to her, or Rachel didn't say hi. I can't remember. No,
It
Angela
was
didn't talk to her. It was,
Devens.
or was it Devens? Yeah, so it was Devens, and I just think it was overwhelming, and everybody just, oh, you're the guy from Survivor, and
Exactly.
they swarmed him. But she went in the diary room, and I think was emotional. Maybe shed some tears, and I thought, oh no, no, this is going to be a real long game for Taylor, and she's not going to make it many weeks. And then here we are, and I think she's got her footing now and sort of figured out how to play this. And she has someone who I really think in Lala is going to be that alliance partner that will ride with you to the end.
Yeah.
I really do think, and that is a key in this game. You have to have somebody. For Devens, it's Dee. For Dee, it's Devens. I think it's Taylor and Lala, Lala Taylor, and there are not a lot of other pairs in there that are as strong with without when we saw, oh my, Rome and Lyric and the showmance, all that stuff, and but those things are so easily spotted and they
Right.
become easy to target. So I think that the Lala Taylor alliance is going to be strong. I think they're going to really watch out for each other, and I think winning a couple of comps and making a few strategic moves now, and I'm not talking floating in the next couple of weeks. Like, you have to make some big moves, whether it's America votes you in and you get a chance to win a power, or you've got to win some veto comps. If you're for Lala not able to win HOH next week, she may need to win veto depending on how HOH goes. But I like this alliance that's formed, and Taylor's loyalty. I know for sure she's going to be loyal, and I really believe Lala to Taylor.
Yeah, I think Taylor's a little bit of like the brains. Lala's a little bit of the brawn, and I think they're both already sort of floating the idea of like, yeah, okay, we'll get rid of Haley or Chuck, whatever this
Mhm.
week, but like we got to
Yeah,
go for the vets next week. Like I think it's brewing. I think Barrett's been talking about it too.
yeah.
It depends on obviously who wins HOH this week, but I do think it's like obviously as fans and people that know Dee and Devens, like I don't want them targeted or even Angela, but it is that time where you're like, all right,
Mhm.
like the jury phase is ending in a few weeks. Like, are we letting them get to the end?
Right.
How early do you
We need to let them sweat a little bit.
a
That's
little bit, a little bit.
that
Come
was
on.
Danny's sentiment. She was like, I need him to sweat a little bit.
Yeah,
You
it's
can't
too
just ride
easy.
all the way to the end and never make it into an you've never been a nominee, you've never been on the block.
Yep, yep.
We can't pave the way and make it that easy for Devens. It can't be that easy for Dee.
Yeah. I want to ask about Barrett. He's the third nominee.
Mm,
I think it's a very small likelihood he goes home. At
yeah.
least now it's Monday. It definitely can change.
Oh
But,
yeah.
I think he's gotten some criticism of just being a little bit of like, chilling. And a lot of times people say when you go into Big Brother, chill for a month. You don't have to go. Like, I think it could be played in different ways. But what do you think about Barrett's game so far?
I think Barrett is one who needs to, at some point soon, I think he needs to win some power so he can make some moves. I know it's going to disrupt some of the people who think he's aligned with him. And maybe he has
Mm,
to pick a side, because he is riding a little bit more. Yes, I'm in this alliance and I'm aligned with Devens, I'm aligned with Dee, but he knows he needs to target them or he's not going to be here. At the end, he might make it to jury, but then you're out real quick.
right.
And so I would like to see Barrett, be our next HOH. Like, I would love that. It's so my sort of hope though is that it's an easy Thursday night where Barrett wins that blockbuster, and then we've got Chuck, Haley, and I think that it would end up being Haley. I really do. Now, and again, things can all change where
Yep.
Dee gets in people's ears and she starts going, "Hey, this." So maybe it needs to be Barrett and Haley, and then that's how that is how Haley goes home. Chuck might win the blockbuster.
You
It
never
really,
know.
any competition could go to anybody. And yes, there are some that favor certain house guests. There are some that are, other house guests are going to be better at playing. But at any given moment, you might walk into a competition and you're just having a great day, and you roll a ball into, down a slanted thing and into a hole, and you get 30 points and somebody else gets 7, and that is all it
That's
takes to
it.
competition. It's just pure luck. You might as well flip a coin. So
Right, right.
I don't know what the comp's going to be. I can't make any prediction, but I really am sort of holding on to that Thursday night as Haley's eviction, and I think that is going to change some of the power in the house. Um,
Mm.
I don't know though.
Yeah, we'll
I don't want to
see.
see Barrett go because I think he's got a lot of game left.
Yeah, someone else I don't wanna see go, and that's very close to Barrett on that other side, is Mallory. She won the BB Time Capsule. She was the first, what, non-vet to win it, I think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What did that surprise you, and what did you think?
Well, I think America loves her. I mean, it's clear they voted her in, and maybe they're trying to really help her out because their heart went out to her because she's had some really hard weeks and she lost her buddy, and
Yeah.
I mean, Lyric sort of just threw her under the bus to the HOH and all of
Yep.
that. And I go, oh, this poor girl, like she was going to be your ride or die now that Rome is gone, Lyric, and then you just were like, hey, she's naming these people and she's saying this stuff, and it's like, oh no, no. And so I thought that was Lyric's a terrible move, and that is I think one of the biggest reasons Lyric went home is everybody went. If you are going to turn this quickly on somebody who is so looking out for you and going to protect you and has your back, like we don't want to be aligned with you.
Right.
And so yes, I think that seeing Mallory win that, I think America had, their heartstrings tugged on through a series of unfortunate events on the show. And then you just like, oh no, she wins a punishment, not a power.
Punishment.
Like, come on, come on. Like,
I know.
oh, big brother, she needs a break here.
I know, I know. Yeah, do you think as a player, you have to be reading into the America vote thing? Like, okay,
Yeah,
wow, America likes Mallory. What do they think
yeah.
about me? Like, are you in that house, like thinking about all that? You think?
Yeah, I don't remember if our season had things that were influenced a whole lot. I think America got to
No.
vote a time or two.
Hmm.
Again, 24 years ago. I need to go back and stream it on Paramount
No,
Plus.
me too.
Uh,
It's been a
uh,
minute since I watched.
I know, and so there are some of the details are fuzzy, but if America gave a reward to a player or something, and America made a decision, it did it affected you. You went, oh, okay, America likes this person more than the rest of us, or
Yep.
America really favors this player. And so it does. It's sort of it's a little bit of a mind game. It messes with you as far as why don't they like me? Because I think it's human nature, unless you're not wired like 80-90% of us that you care what people think, and you're surprised that people don't love you. You're like, my family loves me. Everybody who says they're my friend loves me. Why didn't America love me? And so I think that does play on you. And so hopefully, even though Mallory didn't win the power, that will be a boost for her to go, oh, America likes me. Yeah, it's the Sally, what is it, Sally Field acceptance speech? You like me, you really,
You
really
really
like that.
like me.
Yeah. And so she'll feel that love and know America's rooting for her right now, and that'll help propel her. I just don't know, where does she land? She's got melody, but I don't know where she, I just don't know where she finds her footing and what alliance sort of forms. And I think that's why I'm interested in the power side of the house, having some numbers cut down. It just I want to see how the rest of this house shakes out and sort of what emerges, because you've got Yash, who
Yeah.
is not boring in my mind, but we don't see him a ton on episodes. He's not being talked about. He's not ending up on the block. And it's like, I don't think he's floating, but I think that
He's
we're not
smarter than
talking about him.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's smart.
yeah. So we're not talking about him. And I think he's somebody who is going to be a player where they end up and they go, oh, final three and Yash is here. And it's like, wait, what? And then he goes on and smokes them in some competitions and then wins this game. And you go, oh yeah, like what a stealth game he was playing. I don't think it's a floater game. I think it's some smart gameplay where he's playing the social game well, and that is as much a part of it as the competition part of the
Mm.
game.
Yeah, I hate to compare it to someone because I'm not saying he's Aubrey Bracco from Survivor, but what I'm saying is you'll see a game like Aubrey's where she kind of moves where she's needed to go a certain almost like voting blocks every week's a little different. And I feel like Yash
Yeah.
has that maneuverability. Like he's been moving around. He's doing some good work. I think his reads are pretty good. And
Mhm.
then this week he's sort of all of a sudden like getting closer to Kamu. I don't know. He's actually I was hard on Yash earlier in the season, but I've come around a little bit in terms of his game. I think he's dangerous.
Yeah, I do too, and I think that's why I'm bringing him up. Is dangerous is a really good word, Sharon. That's a player like that. He's going to end up not just making it to jury, but a long way, final four, where now all of a sudden you get to play for HOH, and you could have been the HOH when we were at final five, and so it puts you in this position where more than these powers that get thrown in, more than the blockbuster and all of that. When all of that stuff sort of fades away, you look up and you go, Yash is in it. And he is going to win this game. And why did we let him stay so long? So I'm here for it. And yeah, dangerous is a great way to put
Hmm.
it, because I don't think he's someone that right now, the players who really have a good read on this house, they're really watching. I don't think Dee is feeling a threat from Yash. I don't think Devens is feeling that threat. And I think that if they were, we would start hearing that, okay, we got to start looking at where he falls in the when do we start taking some of these people out that are aligned with us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with that. I just think he's just not on the top of the totem pole right now when it comes to, people somebody people would target. Although I do think maybe they should because like I said, he's dangerous. I think he kind of, not that he switches where he goes in terms of power, but a little bit he's a bit of a free agent.
Yeah.
Which Kamu is also referring to himself as now. I also think listen, can we talk about spoilers a little bit, Jason? Is
Yeah,
that okay?
please, let's do it.
Okay. All right. So this
Well, I mean,
weekend,
you're spoiling stuff that I didn't even know about. You're dropping it here, so I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
believe Dee is talking about her power. I really was like,
I
she's gonna
know.
take this until she has to use it, and then everybody's gonna be like, what?
I
Okay,
will say it's done some good work with Kamu, and it's like
okay,
I feel like it actually not that I'm, necessarily rooting for D to work with Kamu, but I do think Kamu didn't trust D. So this is the other thing. Okay. Angela had a bit of a meltdown. I think the lying was getting to her about that vote, and she comes clean on Saturday. It's now Monday. She came clean to Haley about it, and they had this big blow up. So we should be seeing this on Wednesday's episode,
okay.
because it was before the veto, and they're screaming. So basically, Haley and Angela, who were very very close, are now no longer close.
Oh,
And then
okay.
it's just a lot of finger pointing, like, well, who were the votes? And so Dee ends up coming clean as well to Kamu, to Yash, and she said, I got confused. They're playing the denied, I don't know
Yeah.
what happened. Um, Now I actually think I didn't know if that was the right move for D because I'm like, you don't but at the end of the day, honestly, she kind of did some good work with Kamu and he's kind of trusting her again. So
Okay.
again, I'm not always like sure what D is doing is like the right thing for her, but she always makes it okay. I don't it's
Yeah.
wild.
And maybe this just speaks to her social game, and where I think
Yeah.
she's got a pretty good read on things. I don't deny that, but maybe it's that her superpower here is that you make a mistake, you have to backpedal, and you can smooth it over really, really well. And then everybody's like, yeah, yeah, okay, that's good. And I will say she's probably figuring out the pace of Big Brother being so different than Survivor, where this happened, something blows up, and then in 3, 4, 5 days, we're still not even to the eviction, and
Right.
you can take all that time to let the dust settle and then things breathe, and then you can get to work, and so that may be one of the things that she has figured out from her just Survivor time, but then even with everyone in this house, how to work them. And I don't know, it'll be interesting to see, because I really do think that she is going a long way in this game.
Yep. Yep. Um, so in terms of the POV, we know that Kamu
Mhm.
won.
Yeah.
He has sort of been trying to distance himself from Chuck and Haley because I think he knows it's a sort of a sinking ship. Uh, but Chuck and Haley have all this kind of hope that Kamu, their former ally, is going to use the veto. He ends up not using it. Do you think this is a good move from Kamu? Just like, okay, that's a sinking ship. I don't like, let me move around. I'm a free agent now.
I think it's going to hurt him if Haley stays because
Mm,
that is fractured. I think it was already fractured during her HOH when he pretty much said, this is how we need to vote. This is, I want to keep Lyric. This is why. And she was like, that's good for your game, but it's not good for my game.
exactly.
And they sort of, butt heads on that. So I think that if, because he didn't use it, if Haley stays, I think she's going to be looking for somewhere else to land and some other players to align herself with. I mean, maybe she's still going to work with Kamu and she's going to tell him in the house that everything's cool. But I think there's something that's been broken, that trust, that bond, whatever it is. And
Yep.
I would think if she stays, she is going to be a little more cautious working with Kamu. I think she will need the number, but she'll be looking for an opportunity that if somebody is trying to get him out, that she will sort of, well, I had to go with the house and I'm going to be voting you out on Thursday night, that kind of a thing.
Yep.
Um, but I think, um, I think, I don't know that Kamu is, yes, maybe a free agent as he calls himself, but I think that his days are really numbered. And I don't know why I feel like I can't pinpoint it to, well, that's where it happened. That's the moment. And where some players, I feel like Lyric's fate was sealed in that diary room, taking someone who would be a ride or die for you and just telling the HOH everything and just,
Mm.
wrecking all of this alliance to try and save yourself and jump from one side to the other. And anyway, that's wishy-washy. So I don't know.
I know what you're saying
Is there a
though.
moment with Kamu that you think did it? I think he's on the outs, and I don't know why I feel that way.
Yeah, I think like I said, I think he's kind of making and like he's doing better than Haley and Chuck are. He's sort of
Yeah.
reintegrating into the house. But I do think, listen, at the end of the day, I would say Kamu's one of the strongest people in terms of competitions in there. So he might be someone you need to get out on a double
Hmm.
eviction because you're just like, all right, we're all getting Kamu out, right? Like he's got to go. He's going to win to that. Like
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I think he might be okay the next week or two, depending on who wins HOH, because I think the vets are going to have a target on them. But
Hmm.
Kamu, I think he's dangerous if you let him go too far, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. And I think that enough people see that, and what he needed to win Veto because I think he was in jeopardy. He was going to be the person on the block. And then he's, I think, made an upset Haley out of the situation of not using it. But I think it's better for his game that he didn't because he's trying to smooth things over with
Yeah,
everybody
for
still
sure.
in the house. But I think that they are still clocking. Okay, Kamu was next on the wall with Lala, so he almost won the wall comp.
Yeah.
Okay, and then he wins Power Veto this week. Okay, they start looking at the resume. I think that's going to be one of the things because they kept talking about that with Lyric. She can win competition, so it's like, yeah, Kamu can win competition. So I think he's on the radars of a lot of people because of that and his physical strength. And then he has managed to do some maneuvering at different times that was good for his game and for his alliance. And so I think he's going to be a target sooner than later. If he doesn't win HOH this next week and some of the people on his side are on the block, I think he is certainly going to see the block this
Mm.
next week. If let's say it is a, I don't know, maybe a, I don't know. I mean, it would be amazing. I feel like if we had some power, like go to Yash, or I don't know, I mean,
Switch it up.
a Mallory as HOH. Like who knows? Maybe the
Yep.
love from America propels her into that. I don't know.
Mm.
Because I think there would be something interesting that could happen. Um, I hope. I just don't want her to say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna try to join the Devens D Alliance and friends and be part of this club I really want to fit into." And then, again, you get into this group, but you are the first one out when they have to start turning on themselves, or maybe sooner than that.
Yeah, I think if Mallory wins, it's great because I think Barrett would be in her ear a bit, and I think Barrett
Hmm.
secretly wants to take shots at the vets too. He just doesn't want to be the one to do it, and so I'm
Yeah.
hoping Mallory. I think Mallory would have the guts to do it. I think Mallory is there to play, so that could be fun. I would like
Yeah,
that.
I'm rooting for that. I think that a lot of the other players are going to handle HOH um, in a safe way.
Right.
Unless like Taylor won it, I think Taylor would be like, okay, Lala,
Agree.
you got out whoever. Let's say it's Haley, and then it's like, okay, let's go after another big player. So maybe Chuck is back on the block. They're like, well, he was a target last week, and then they start going after some of the other big names, and maybe one of the Survivor players, maybe
I think
and
Devens.
yeah, Devens maybe ends up on the block there, and then who knows? It is maybe a week where we see. Gosh, I'm looking at all the players here, and Angela. I don't know where they start going. We can't let a vet, a reality icon,
Yeah.
keep playing this game. We got to start getting rid of some of them. And so, those are kind of the things. I'm nervous that Yash won't make a big move, but maybe. I don't know.
It's so hard to say because one day, he's anti-vets, and the next day he's like kikiing with D, and I'm like, wait, does he like D? Does like what's going on
Yeah.
here? But talk to me real quick. We didn't talk about Angela. What are your thoughts on Angela's game versus her past game? I feel like she's
I think
changed it a
she's
little.
yeah, yeah. I think there are still the typical Angela meltdowns,
Yes.
and I think more are coming. And it sounds like what we've seen here, where she kind of came clean. I I think that's one of those moments, but it is a different Angela where I think that maybe before it was like she might have tried to tell those players that's not how it happened, and the tears to say like, why would you accuse me, I didn't do, and so maybe try to, I don't know if it's gaslighting or whatever you call these things, where she would do that. So here it's like, oh, you're going to come clean, you're going to be honest about this. I think the emotional play is something she realized is not good, and that in her previous game hurt her. And I do think being aligned with really strong players like Devens, like Dee, has helped her feel secure. And so then that helps calm her down. So it's like she's not every moment on the verge of, you're going to explode. And in this house, after you start living with people, you get to 50 days in, 60 days in. I know we're not there in this game, but you go, this is exhausting. Like,
Yeah.
it is exhausting, and you're just like, I just need to get rid of you because I'm exhausted. You're the highs are high and the lows are low, and you're crying all the time, and I've got to console you, and then we got to pull you back. And so I think being a little bit more, steady, even keeled is helping Angela's game this go round, where we're not seeing like fights on staircases and all of these things and these moments that you're like, oh my gosh, this is so uncomfortable to watch, but this is what you've got the popcorn and you're like, this is why we're here for
Yeah.
it. There's a big brother, it's getting good.
Listen, Jason, I think we're gonna see it on Wednesday, if I'm being
Okay.
honest, because
Okay, it really is. It's coming. Okay, all right,
it's
all
coming.
right. I haven't
It'll be
seen this
interesting.
this feed stuff. All right, but I think that aside, I think her game does look different now. It may just she flips a switch and the old Angela's back, and then I think she's going to be out sooner because
Mm.
people still like Devens. They like hanging out with him. He's kind of the dad in the house right now, but he's not. Doesn't feel like he's too old. He's still kind of hip. And then there, Dee. They like her. They're connecting with her. There's this little, like we said with the Barrett and the like flirting and the whatever
Mm.
is the who what. I think Dee in the diary room Thursday Night Live saying, like, whatever she said to, like, calling to her friends, like, have some dates lined up. So I don't think she sees
That
any
was so
interest
good.
in the house. She's not interested in anybody. Um, yeah. So anyway,
Well,
yeah.
Jason, are you a Drew and Melody fan? People are shipping them as a showman,
Um,
so slow burn.
a slow burn. I don't know. It's so funny. I I'm back and forth on the showman. It's like, yes, we need a little soap opera moment in this, and we have the little, okay, now, and a moment aside from the game, here are these people and they are falling for each other and all, and it's fun to watch. I don't. dislike it. Hannah, we talk to all the time. Like she's no showman. She's like, cut it out. You know, she was like Roman lyric. This is what's going to be the downfall of your game. Here we are. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, flip side, Rachel Riley. You know, we're talking to her. She's like, I love the showmance. This is amazing. So she's wants everybody to end up in a showmance. I don't mind it. I need uh, keep your head in the game. Yeah,
Yep,
it's like
yep, yep.
this is fine, but you've got to keep your head in the game because you are here for a purpose. You've got all this time to figure that all out later, and you have to remember the target that gets put on your back. It's even more of a target than these two people who we know. Devens and Dee are close, and they are, you know, they are going to be each other's final two. Like that is like it. I think is clear to everybody in the
I
house.
would
I
think
mean,
so.
maybe not. Maybe they're watching a different show, but it seems pretty obvious. Um, it, you know, again, I don't know, but I think
Mm.
that for them, Melody, Drew, like you gotta focus on the game, and it's like you can have all this, and it might be fun to watch the slow burn thing. But I want game to be first right now. You know, like get out into the real world, you know, fly to each other's hometowns, you know, hang out, see what
Hang
you
out
think,
later.
and yeah, yeah. Um, I will say though, it is such a lonely place. Like it's
Yeah.
yes, you're with all these people, but you also are just taken away from any kind of, you know, like I mean, yes, somebody might hug you, and but it's like you've missed all of that like familial love that you get. And so when you start this relationship and you get those endorphins and you feel all of those things, it is good for the game. And you know, it's like I know in my season I was like, you know, like you end up on some we won something, a competition, or maybe American voted, I don't know. And Amy and I got to go on a sailboat. Like it was the wildest thing. Like they took us out of the house on a
I know.
sailboat. um, you know, they're circling around us in a boat with camera crew. You know, we're watching the camera guys getting sick. We're sick. You know, and I hold Amy's hair back, and I'm, you know, and like there's like I'm like Joey on Friends is like, you know, you're now out in the world, and you're like, how you doing? You know, and then it's like, and then you know, and then you, like the weeks roll on, and Amy is out, and you're like, you know, there's like Lisa, like, hey, you know, and
Yeah.
so, but it's like keep your head in the game, man. Keep your head in the game, Jason. And so you got, you know, you got you got to do that. Um, Gosh, I don't know. I can't fault them for it because we're human, and it is kind of fun to watch that part of this social experiment. But I really think that, and Melody is one that I'm rooting for now. And I
Yeah.
remember watching her at the beginning, and she was in the Kill Bill costume, and she's doing the stuff with the sword, and I was like, what? Like what's I don't get it. And she's a game show host. And so I was like, I don't really I need more information. Like this is so confusing. Like, are you putting us on? Like, what is this? And so now it's like, okay, we've begun to see who Melody really is. And it's like, oh, you know, I like her and I'm rooting for her. And so like you and Drew align. That's great. Like save all the showman stuff for
Yep.
later. Keep your heads in the game. And you two decide you're going to be final two for each other, and then let's start playing it. Let's go. And maybe Melody's a great pick for the next HOH. I think she would have a
Yeah.
fire lit under her. She's not going to nominate a Mallory. You know, I think Yash is safe with her, and I think she starts coming after. You know, you've got a Kamu, you've got you know, Devens and Dee. Yes, I think their names would certainly come up for the nomination block. I think it could be an exciting week. And I don't know why, as I was looking, because I have to have this like cheat sheet. I'm like,
No,
where are
me
my
too.
players
Me
and
too. Don't
who's
worry.
scratched out? Because and and every time that we're talking about Jason from season 28 of Big Brother, I'm like, Jason, what? And I was like, oh, we're talking about him. I'm sorry,
Oh,
I'm so confused.
yes.
Um, yeah, or I'll read something online, and I'm like, wait, Jason, why are? And I was like, oh, this. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And we had a Jace, and so there were some others similar, but like you know, this season, I'm like, oh man, I'm so confused. Are we talking to me? Him? Okay, yeah. Um, and so I think that yeah, I don't know. I would really like to see a couple of weeks of shaking up the power, and then back to our regularly scheduled program, and let Devens and D, you know, just
Exactly.
you know, cruise on through.
That's all
Um,
we want.
yeah.
Just shake it up a little bit. Um, well, as we sort of wrap up, I have one
Yeah.
other thing I wanted to ask you about. because it's really interesting to me, is this diamond power veto that Devens holds. There's a
Mhm.
couple ways to play this. Unlike previous seasons, he's
Yep.
allowed to tell people, and he's only chosen to tell D. Do you
Yeah.
think that's a smart move? If you got it, are you only telling Danielle? Are you
Yeah.
using
Oh
it
yeah.
as leverage? Like, what would you be doing?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it quiet. I think if you have a power, everybody's is sort of we're on a level playing field here in the Big Brother house, sort of, and then you get something that gives you an extreme power. This is like finding an immunity idol on
Right.
Survivor. You go and you hide that till you need to pull that out. Like, wait a second, Jeff, hang on here, tribal council. And I know sometimes people they spill it to everybody, but I feel like it is more powerful to keep it quiet. Now you may have to leverage it because it's the only currency you have, but I think it is really smart to keep it quiet. I think this will be something for Devens that is looks back, if he's sitting in a final two chair and people go, man, that was so cool. You had this, only you and D knew about it. You did whatever we see him do in the next few weeks. Yeah, and it's game changing. It's like, let's say that it's he's able to, he's saving D somehow, and then he's putting up somebody who he's wanted to get on the block, and nobody even really knows who's running it. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
that's amazing. You take over the power of the HOH. So he's essentially like he's got the power to be HOH for the next few weeks. When it comes down to the end, that saying if he's not needing to use it on himself.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Wait,
my
Diamond Power Veto he can use on himself, right? He can use it.
yes.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
well, basically he can take off whoever's on the block and
Yeah.
replace and name the
And
replacement.
then
And
he
that is
names the replacement. Yeah.
and the HOH obviously the HOH can't be nominated and obviously whoever came off the block. But
Yeah.
I just my only worry with this, like, let's shake it up, is the minute that they go on the block. You know what I mean? Like, if you're taking
Yeah.
a hit at the vets, you can't miss. So if
No.
Devens ends up using that veto, or that diamond power veto, you have to hope D or Angela can somehow go. Like, one of them's got to go home. Like,
Yeah.
unless that's the only thing. It's like
Well, and
I'm
I mean, this is one of the
ugh.
reasons I think that Devens makes it farther in this game. D with the power, I think that's why D goes farther. Is there's this little safety net, and I do
Yep.
think of the three icons or whatever we're calling them, bets or in the house, the the people who've played reality shows before, the season 28 cast members, I think of the three, we'll see Angela go home first. I
Okay.
think she probably makes it to jury.
I
I
think
think we see
so.
that happen, but I think she will be the first of those three to go home. But and unless she wins some sort of power down the line, no, she can't because she's been voted in and she won, of course. And she got the
Punishment.
yeah, that's right, the egg. Oh my gosh, and even that alone, like that was so good that we like dusted off Vince's costume from last
So
season,
good.
and then Devens with the egg puns. And this is like I'm 49 now. My a dad, I've got and my kids are now everybody's in high school, so they are not here for the dad puns anymore. Like they loved it when you're 7, but like Devens was cracking me up, and he was like, "It's an excellent idea." Yeah, he's like, "Oh, it looks like we got egg on our face." And he just did. He was like on and on and on, and I was like, I love him even more for his dad jokes.
I know people are like, "Oh, the DR is scripting them for him." I'm like, "Honestly, guys, I think this is just Devens."
Yeah, I think
It's
he's
just
good at it.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
he's done TV. He's fast on his feet. Like
Yep.
it's what that trains you to do. And so I think that's really him. And we've watched him in the house, the way he interacts, and he and Drew have been really funny together, coming up with some things. And it was a whole little bit that they were doing about when you're a jerk, you're whatever prick Devens, and then if you're
Yes.
he's really gonna like they did this whole thing, and it's like Devens was really quick on it on his feet. So I think this is really him. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like some of the people who've played in more recent seasons would be able to say if there's ever anything given to him in the diary room, with the exception of here are the instructions that you read
Exactly,
for a
yeah.
competition, and that's where you read the laminated piece of paper, and it's whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think they're giving him stuff.
I mean, again, there's conspiracy theorists, but based on what I know and what I've heard, they will never make you say anything. They might say, "Hey, can you say it in a different way?" Or like,
Yeah,
"But can you?
yeah,
Oh, this could be funny if you say it." But they don't say if you don't. You know what I mean? Like, you
yeah,
can say, "No, I'm not saying that."
yeah. Well, and yeah, I do remember Danielle said that on our season she had been doing this countdown. She was like, you
Yeah.
know, one down, 11 to go. You had two down, 10 to go, and then so it got 3 or 4 weeks in, and she kind of forgot about it in the diary room. And they're like, "Hey, Danny, are you going to do your countdown?" And she was like, "Oh yeah, that's right." And then it like and
Yeah, it
and
became a thing.
because it had been a thing for some weeks, and then one of the reasons the jury is now sequestered, and that really had people in our season once they got evicted, sort of
Oh, I'm
feeling like she was
sure.
very calloused about just cutting them. She just a victim and didn't think twice. It's like, no, that's not the case. It's still television and we're having a good time and we're having fun. Like I
Exactly.
look back at some of my diary rooms, I go, I was boring. like, like there was a reason you didn't see me a lot on the early parts of the season, and somebody might call what I did floating, but Danny and I were working together from a few days on and we're strategizing, and I was sort of aligned to one side of the house and she was aligned to the other side, and we would work together and we'd have Danny throw in a hanky vote, and as we called it,
Yep.
I don't know what we dub it now. I feel like fandom has
I say
created some great
hinky,
names.
hinky
Yeah,
or rogue.
hinky,
Yeah.
yeah, rogue vote. And so even the week where Taylor just voted differently on what we
I
thought was
love
going to be
it.
a unanimous vote, and I was like, I don't know if she's brilliant, if this was accidental. Like it seemed like it was just like she messed up. I don't know where that lands, but like I can't wait to ask her when the season's over. But I love that kind of stuff, and so Danny and
Me
I would
too.
keep those things going, and we were playing it very subtly. But the shift came where we knew we had to start getting rid of some of the power players on our season. It's when we shifted a vote. They were going to get rid of um, Lisa, and instead we flipped some people and got rid of Eric. And so they only needed a couple of votes, and so one side of the house was going to vote to evict Eric, but they weren't going to have enough votes because the side of the house that was in power, it was holding on to that. And so I remember like that was some backpedaling I had to do
Of
with
course.
Roddy from that moment on, because he was like, I'm on to you. And so then Danny and I were like, it's him or us. Like we
Yeah,
got to
at that
take the
point,
shot before he takes it and gets us. Yeah.
that's the great yeah, that's what I love about Big Brother. Like, come on, this is the best part.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, I don't want to take up your time all day here, but who do we think's going out this week? Is it Haley or
Okay,
Chuck?
I'm just putting it out. I nailed it on Rome, and I was like I felt real strong, and here's what I'm most disappointed. My prediction was Rome goes out that week, when he went, and I was like, okay, now Lyric's gonna sort of forget the showmance, and this is gonna light a fire under, and Lyric's gonna play, and that didn't really pan out the way I thought. But I think that this week, and I would put the caveat on if she wins the blockbuster, it's not
Of
Haley. But I
course.
think I think that Chuck wins the blockbuster, and I think that Haley is the evictee come Thursday night. I'm a little nervous about it if it is Chuck and Haley, because we have a lot of time. It's Monday night when I'm talking to you, Sharon, and then
Yep.
all the way to Thursday and that live show. Because I do think Devens and Dee may see the value in, why would we get rid of someone everybody is targeting? Let's
Exactly.
let's get Chuck out. He is not a person they're going to be looking at in the next few weeks, and Chuck's going to float on by, where we've got a shield with keeping Haley in there. So I think Haley, and I feel like I'm trying to will it, and not I don't dislike her. I think there could be some really good game. I think that somehow she just kind of aligned with some of the wrong people, and
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like when we haven't ever been able to really figure out somebody, and maybe that's what I'm having a hard time with. I can't get a good read on her. I'm just like, you feel dangerous because I don't know what you're going to do, and you may start coming after people that I like in this game, and
Mm.
so, and for this reason, you're out. So
Listen,
Haley, I think, is Thursday night's evictee.
I think it's a good call. I think it's likely to happen, but again,
Yeah,
you never know with Big Brother, especially if
right.
Dee and Devens get a little stir crazy.
Uh huh.
In terms of HOH, who we pulling for? I think I
You know
think
what?
I'm gonna go Mallory or Melody.
Yeah, I'm going Melody first on this, and then Mallory. And either way, I could take it. But as we were talking about Melody, Drew in this, because I think I my concern with Melody as HOH with Drew in her ear, he's feeding Devens and Dee stuff to the HOH.
Right.
So I think that messes it up. But I would like to see a Melody or a Mallory, and I don't know. Mallory might be the one to. I think she might be the one to really
I
go
agree.
after some of these vets and say, okay, here are my nominees. It's Devens, it's Dee, it's Angela, and let's see what happens here. I think she's going to be a little softer for some reason. I don't know why I feel this, Mallory, to Angela, and I don't know why.
They have a little bit
Um,
of a good
yeah,
relationship.
there's and it's so hard. You play this game and you really do feel bonded to everybody, your family, your all of that. I don't know. I'm willing all of that. That we get to see a little shakeup here for these couple of weeks, because what would be really disappointing is Devens and Dee never hit the block. They're
I
really
know.
never feeling any threat. They never have to use these powers, and then they just vanish. And then we're like, oh well, that was a terrible thing to give to somebody when we could have seen a player who is fighting for their life trying to survive in the Big Brother 28 house, and they get this, and then it shifts up the game.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't.
I also don't want Dee or Devens to get to the end and win, and then their entire win is tainted by, well, they were never in trouble, they were never on the block,
Yeah,
so no one, like, I feel like,
yeah, yeah.
other winners
That
get
is a
that.
really that's a really good point that you make, because there is something about it where people go, oh, they just had such an easy path, and
Yep,
everybody just paved the way, and all they had to do was win an HOH here and a veto there, and America voted them this power that saved them, blah, blah, blah.
exactly.
And then yeah, it does. It sort of puts the asterisk on the win. Yeah, like they gotta sweat it out a little bit. They gotta fight for it a little bit, and then and then we're like, hey, they survived the adversity, because I think that was like Taylor Hale's win. That was so amazing. It was like week after week after week after week after week. It was like she was getting targeted. She was just always like, okay, this is the end of the game. This is the end of it for her. And then to sit there in the final two and to win the game, you go, what a
The
story,
story
because
was, yeah.
you fought so hard and you played such a good game. And so it was one of those seasons that you just watching it at home, and I was like, no way, no way, no way. And then when you start getting to the end, and you're like, she's going to win this thing. I think there's got to be a little adversity for Devens and for Dee. And even though we're like rooting for him, it's like I want to sweat it out a little bit. It's like
Yeah, just
it's
a
so
little.
easy right now for me. Like even as a fan of the show, like I like sweating it out a little bit for somebody that you like in the game.
Of course, and I don't want that asterisk next to them if they
Yeah,
win, like,
yeah.
I want them to have earned it.
Mhm.
Listen, we're on the same page, I totally agree. Anything else, Jason? Any other thoughts from this week? It's been great
I
having you
mean,
on.
I am I just I can't wait till the players get out of the house. Like that is one of those moments that I love, and it's so fun to watch the players right now. They're not sequestered, and sort of the eye-opening reaction to whether America responded well to them, and actually the first few have been out. We're four evictions right now. They've been beloved. Like even if somebody it's like I was wanting Rome to go. It was sort of because I felt like this showmance is not good for a
Of
lot of
course.
the game for people, and it's then he comes out and it's like people love this guy. He's great,
He
and to
seems
see
like a nice guy, I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
outside the game, great. But I just, I feel like it was like this is not going to be an interesting game or some. I don't know what it was that I was just over. And then like, I was so happy for Jason to sort of feel the love, and to even Julie to just
Yeah,
give him the the warm welcome on stage while banging the tea kettle. Like that
so
was great.
good.
And then to say, hey, you've been in the top three every single vote from America, and so I think he felt so down and out, and that place can be lonely, and even if you feel like everybody loves you, it's still, you feel isolated and you are by yourself, and you think you've got somebody, but you still maybe not 100% sure. And for some reason I just blindly trusted that Danielle was never going to turn on me in my season.
I mean,
I
listen.
was young, I was 25 and maybe a little naive, but I felt that like she feels like family. I feel like I've known you forever. And that's why Rome and Lyric are saying they're going to get married, and it was like I needed somebody who felt like family. It's like this is what it feels like, a relationship with my mom, my dad, my brother, and it's like, we can do this, and I believe what you're saying, and you're going to look out for me. Yes, at the end, we're gonna sit in those two chairs, and we're gonna talk about our resumes, and
Mhm.
we're gonna try to win this game. And honestly, made it final three. But had we been sitting there, the two of us, Danny and me, I feel like her resume was way stronger. Like, she had done so much of the legwork, the strategizing, and I feel like I would have told her, I'd been like, guys, you got to give it to Danielle Reyes.
But
Like,
your
it,
social game,
yeah.
Jason, we
No,
can't.
and social is part of it, and I was doing social game, yes, but there were times where I was like, Danny, what about this? And she's like, Jason, you gotta just like calm this down. This is not the week for that. And you're like, oh, okay. And then I could see it, and then it's like, okay. And she helped me figure out my way through some of this. I think, if if the casting people were betting on it, like, I think they thought I was like, this guy from Mobile, Alabama, coming in at 25. They're like, oh, wait till these house guests meet him. And I think they thought, he's gone. He is gone. Week one, week two, like, he's the early, one out, instead of being, in the final three of this season. I think that shocks people, but I mean, I gotta give props to Danielle for helping me figure it out. And because she was a fan of Survivor and a fan of
Yeah.
Big Brother, the two previous seasons, she was, and I watched them, but I didn't study it like I was going to go and play this game. I watched season one and loved it. I watched season two, and then season three. Like I said, a friend said, "Hey, they're doing a casting at the CBS station here in Mobile. You should go." And you talk on a camera for 3 minutes. They mailed the VHS tape back to whoever ran casting at the time for Big Brother, and and then that's kind of you move along in the process, and then you make it on the show. But I wasn't planning to go on Big Brother. Like, that was not
Right.
the thing that I had said I was going to do. Where a lot of times now people are like, I have watched this show, and I started watching when I was 7 years old, and then when I am now old enough to go, I started applying, and for 3 or 4 years they were applying, they were trying to get on the show, and so they had like planned strategy, and they were watching this game like they were a player. And so I needed somebody like Danielle to help me with that. And hey, it's too early to get somebody, there would be a player who's like talking about me, and she's like, yes, he's going to come after you, or she's going to come after you, but not yet. They know we need our numbers. Chill, Jason, settle down. We're good. We're aligned with them. We're simmer down. And then it's like, okay, now is the time where we got to strike. And the week that we knew we needed to get Marcellus out was the week he also held the golden power of veto. And we
That
were
was your HOH,
just,
wasn't it?
yeah, I was HOH, and I had to, on live TV, because there were only two other players, to say, I'm the vote. And I was like, Marcellus. Oh no, and Amy was up next to him, and Amy thought for sure that he was going to go, but Danielle had convinced him and had done like brilliant things to make it seem like, yeah, Amy's out of here, because she cut our hair. So she gave me a haircut that day. And it was like all of the things that, like, if
Oh.
we don't have Amy for another 3-4 weeks till the end of the show. And Danny was like, you're good. You don't have to use it. You can make this big move where you don't use it, and then you're safe. And like, had convinced, and she did the legwork. And then I had to
The
like
rest is
be the
history.
executioner. And I was like, you should have used the power veto. I vote to Victor Marcells. And it was hard. It was hard. It's great TV, but it's like, you're still a human in there, and you're
Of
like, you
course.
crushed someone's dreams of winning this game. And it is why, when you have a power and you need to save yourself,
You
you
use
need
it.
to use power. Yeah. Like, don't think you're going to be a hero in the game. It's people with an immunity idol that don't bust it out. They get evicted, and you're like,
I
oh,
know.
what are you thinking? They get voted off the island on Survivor, or somebody with the ability to have a POV and they're like, decide not to use it because there's some heroics. And thankfully, in the seasons now, people are like, they're not gonna play that game. But it was new. It got introduced our season. Nobody knew what to do with the veto, and we were nervous about using these
Exactly.
powers. So
Yep.
yeah, and it was a great live show. Like, go back and watch it. I really dislike the outfit I was in. Here.
Oh, I don't
Um,
remember.
yeah,
But Jason, thank you again for
thank
joining.
you, Sharon.
As always, for the listeners, please like and subscribe. Getting close to 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, so
That's
would love to hit
awesome.
that. I will be
Make
back
it happen.
live. Yes, please, please. I will be back live on Thursday. I watch every eviction live on YouTube and Twitch, so check that out. And on Friday, talking to the next house guest who gets evicted. Let's see if it's Haley or not.
Hey,
Haley.
Haley, get your questions lined up for Sharon to ask Haley.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you again, Jason. It's been fun.
Thank you.